Hey, is it a stream? It is. Yes, just when you thought you were safe from streams, here they are. Back again. Okay. Oh, sorry. You're... No. It's fine. Grab your pens and your papers. Yep. Let's go to the booth real quick. Hello? I'm here. Welcome back, everybody. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do today. And I arrived at something a little different. Just a bit of fun. You know, something I've been meaning to get back to for a while. Just in general, not necessarily on the stream, but I figure I might as well give it a try. See how we do. But yeah, anyway, hope everyone have been doing well out there. Yeah, so today I was like, I'm going back through my old stuff. I'm like, I have this 2-page RPG I was messing around with. Because I had that thing where I got like struck with inspiration and did a whole flurry of activity and then kind of left it alone for for a while. So I'm like, you know what, let's go back to it and see if there's anything here. See if there's any juice in this or not. And I'm just going to mess around with that today and hang out, keep it nice and chill, and so on. Add in the caption saying captions not needed. There is no dialogue. Well, I guess that's something. That sure is a thing. Okay. So yeah, what are we doing today? Cannot get you dice, yeah. So yeah, as you can see from the stream title, like I said, I started making a 2-page RPG that I will be amazed if anyone can get what the initialism that's in the title stands for, because that's the title of the RPG. You might remember, Lamb might, I don't know, maybe, because I might have mentioned it to you ages ago, but maybe not. But yeah, we'll go over there in just a sec. Just want to make sure I have it all set up properly, because I just did a sort of impromptu thing to capture the window, and I just kind of did a slap together like layout. No memory of this. All right, perfect. All right. So yeah, okay. Let me make sure that. Yeah, that seems correct. There's nothing. There we go. So this is I Love You, But We Only Have 14 Hours to Save the Earth, which is an RPG which is entirely just a line from Flash. Yeah, we go. Flash, I love you, but we only have 4. I forget why I was listening to Flash Gordon, like the Queen music from Flash Gordon, but this is where it came from, because I heard that line. I was like, I love you, but we only have 14 hours to save the Earth, and I'm like, that sounds like a 1-page RPG. Like that sounds like something you can buy on itch.io, you know. So I'm like, well, I have to make it so then. So yeah, it is. This is I forget when I last looked at this, but it's been a while. But this is a 2-page RPG about the 3 R's: romance, rockets, and Armageddon. It does also sound like a 2010s Midwest emo band. That's true. I think there's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of crossover there. So yeah, let's see. I haven't looked at this in a while, so let's see. Let me see what we have here. It's prom night and aliens from space have arrived to destroy the Earth. You only have 14 hours before their doomsday device destroys the planet, but luckily you've been accidentally abducted to the alien spaceship. Can you defeat the evil alien emperor and still make out with your crush? Or, you know. So okay, so that's the elevator pitch. But like, how does this thing actually work? I don't know, but let's find out. Well, okay, so yeah, you are okay. Yeah, okay. Jock, nerd, theater kid. Yeah, they have stats of 3, 2, 1. Jock is body 3, brain 1, heart 2. Nerd is body 1, brain 3, heart 2. And theater kid is body 1, brain 2, heart 3. Okay. So, okay, so yeah, there is a 14. So I remember that there was supposed to essentially be this takes 14 rounds. Like there are 14 hours, and you mark off every hour when everyone has acted once. Right? Okay. When the clock is full, when the clock is full, we determine if the Earth is saved or destroyed. So you have 3 stats: body, brain, heart. Okay. Yeah, 1 at 3, 1 at 2, 1 at 1. Each stat represents a number of... Okay, yeah, there's a number of d6. Oh, yeah, I think I just... Was that a 50-50? Okay, I don't know. I really didn't... I haven't playtested this, I'll tell you that much. Okay, so each stat represents a number of d6. 1 3 is a failure, 4 to 6 is a success. So it's a 50-50 shot. If you roll more than 1 6, add an extra success, I guess. Bodies do things physically, brain do things intellectually, hearts do things emotionally. So yeah, the idea being that you keep track of successes and failures. See, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. At the end of a round, if the group rolled more successes than failures, add a die to the hero pool. Otherwise, add a die to the villain pool. If the results are tied, add no dice. When you fill the clock, re-roll the hero pool and the villain pool. Whichever side gets more successes is victorious. Re-roll any ties. I don't know. Okay. And then I was trying to spitball some like abilities for the different classes, I guess. Yes. If you roll no successes, you can... Yes, this is kind of fiasco. Yeah, a little bit. You can confess your feelings. This replaces the pool with a number of successes equal to your heart. Each character can only confess once per game. If you have not confessed by the final roll, add 1 die to the hero pool, and your character confesses their feelings immediately. And then there's just a list. The second page is just like a list of locations. And after every 2 hours is filled, roll for a new location. Reroll duplicates. I was considering yeah. So I don't know. What I realized with this is that the way I have it laid out at the moment, there's a lot of rolling going on. And basically the end is like you have a pile of hero dice and you have a pile of villain dice, and then you roll both of them and you see what happens, and you see how many successes there are, and you have to compare. I'm looking at this now, I'm like, that feels like it's a lot of work. Like, that would probably be just kind of annoying. Especially as that actually gets worse. You do only do it once, but it gets worse the more players you have, I realize. Just because of how... I don't know. I will see. Yeah. And so what did I have? Yeah, okay, so I had an idea of like nerd reroll 1 dice once, increase the result of a die by 1, remove a failure from the pool. Yeah. Like I said, this is not super well developed. This is just like banged out and then I kind of put it away. I think like you get a certain number of dice per stat, and 1 to 3 is a failure, 4 to 6 is a success, and you're just rolling more dice on the things you're good at. So that gives you more chances of success. When I was thinking about this, I had another idea for how to lay this out. So let's see. Okay, so not. So it was gonna be. Like you are, and then we would change the stats to body 3, smarts 1, but then the problem is heart is then, yeah, I don't know about that. I think probably we lean into like, is that wrong? Oh, sure. Okay. Nah. I guess if we're doing like, you know, your teenagers at, you know, then at a school, then this makes sense. What do you give me a blue wiggle there for? Oh. Is that? Did I just use a hyphen? No, whatever. Okay. Okay. It should be draw a. We need to have something about draw a 14 segment clock, which is a little awkward. I realize it's kind of awkward to do that. But I mean that can be what. I mean, you can figure it out. Okay. So the idea being that you go around the table, everyone acts once, and generates a number of successes and a number of failures. And then at the end of a round, if you rolled more successes than you rolled failures, add a die to the hero pool. Otherwise, add a die to the villain pool. I don't know. Does that make sense? Because then you're only increasing the villain. Okay, so actually, now that I look at this, what that means is there is a maximum of 4. You're going to roll 14 dice at the end of this. Like that's how this is going to work. Well, there will be 14 dice rolls. If something either has to go incredibly right or incredibly wrong for you to roll 14 dice at once. In which case we already know what the result is going to be. Yeah. Because basically, I think what I want is that I want you to be sort of accruing either points or dice or something to affect a final roll. What I don't want it to be is like, you know, you gain a victory point essentially at the end of a round, and then at the end of the game, if you have more victory points than the villain does, you win. Because that means that by the time you get to the end of the game, you already know if you're gonna if you're gonna win or lose. And I like keeping that tension until right at the end, because there's a roll involved, or lots of rolls. Like having a big climactic battle or something right at the end where you face down the Emperor and it all comes down to one dice roll that is affected by everything else so far. So there's something stuck on here. Ooh, there we go. A bit of fluff. Oh, I get stuck on that. It's alright. Okay, leave that alone. So that's what I want to have. So that's why I wanted it to be like, you know. But I don't know how satisfying that is. To be rolling, you know, several, like a lot of times, and then only adding... I don't know. Yeah, pacing, yeah. Do we want to be taking the full 14 beats? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that at least I like that. I like the idea because it gives it a sort of defined length, and I don't. This is kind of meant to be like a one-shot sort of thing. Like this, you play it in one session, right? And 14 beats, 14 rounds. The thing is, I don't know if that, how long of a session that would make, because everybody has to go once, and then once. I don't know, it could lose that conceit of the 14 segment clock, but yeah, I don't know. Also, I should mention I've just played a lot of TTRPGs. We've done some homebrew on the channel here before, ages ago. I've done a bunch of that. That is a different thing, because it's a lot easier to play in a space that's already been defined than to define one yourself. So all that is to say, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here. Yeah, there's the hero pool and the villain pool. And we want to have at the end, like, if we want to stick to that thing, then at the end, well, you roll the hero pool and you roll the villain pool, and then you see who wins. Like, yeah. We'll need a lot of d6s for this. But that's okay, those are actually the most common type of dice, so we're fine. I was gonna reword this. Solve problems. Yeah, this would be like... or... solve problems with athleticism and physicality. Like, solve problems with and king. Actually, yeah. Sure. I don't know if that is any better, but whatever. Should maybe look at, like, you know what I'm going to do? I mentioned Fiasco, so I'm going to have a quick look at the Fiasco rules. think wait, do I have it? Do I have it or not? What? Oh no, I do. Okay, I have a couple of them. Let's look at News Channel 6. Remind myself how this works. Okay, then there's relationships. Yes, yes, yes. And there are locations. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, I forget this is just a... okay. Right, these are just setting things. Those are not the rules. I don't know. Is there a missing stat thing? So we got... Okay. 3, 2, 1. With 3 options, you should have... Well, you should have more than... Yeah. Body 3, brain... Okay. Okay. Yeah, because... Yeah, there we go. A list of locations aboard the alien war rocket, the high school dance, a Freaky Nebula, Planet X, a spaceship, or a black hole, the sports field, the library, the labor mines, pleasure planet, the alien base, secret in the path of a giant alien robot, the gladiator pit, the Emperor's court, evil doppelgangers. Yeah. So I might change that to something else, just for Casino Planet, Space Vegas. And then, yeah. High school in space. Yeah. So, okay. Thinking again about the 14 segment clock, and it's like, does that need to be a part of it? I like the idea of it, to give it a defined length, you know, that should hopefully only take one session. It's essentially, you know, there are 14 rounds, and that's a long time in like D&D combat, you know. But if you're not doing that, I don't think it's that long of a time. And it's probably on the order of like a couple of hours, maybe. It might work out to about the right time. Let's see. What is the... I need to see if I can see a 14 segment clock visually. Actually, I wonder, are there any resources for like making like segment clocks online? I know I can just... Okay, let's do this. Because I don't know how to divide things into 7. Okay. Well, what if I just do like... What if I... Well, if I divide it into 8... Okay, so yeah, you would need... Yeah, let's do... I'm just drawing on a sticky note here. Okay, 2 8-segment clocks is 16. So let's do that and fill in two segments to start with. Oh yeah, 14 bubbles in the line, that's also true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you may not be able to see that this well, but it's like that. That's actually quite. And then everyone at the table has to do something once. Has to go once to fill in one of these. Now that I look at that, that's actually going to take a while. What if because I'm like, what if instead we had, you know, because I'm worried, yeah, if we keep the 14 segment clock and go like, you know, you add the number of, you know, fill in that many segments of the clock equal to the number of successes you got. That could mean it fills up pretty quickly. Although the max you could get at once is 3. So maybe that's not so bad. You might get none. Hey, Red. Yeah, it's RPG time. I'm screwing around with this. I haven't looked at it in a while. But it's a 2-page RPG I've been messing with. Well, it's only 2 pages because that's where I put all the tables on the other page. So yeah. Alright, you know what we can do? It's dice time! Oh, that's backwards, but whatever. I can get out some dice. Behold. Let's have a... Yeah. So I can actually try and test this myself. Alright, let's get a d6. And let's get 3 d6 here. This one that's like fake bone kind of style, which I like. And then these translucent green ones, which are really, really pretty. It's slightly hard to read. So maybe I'll just get another one just to make my life easier. There we go. Okay, so 3d6. The main set at 3. The thing I'm also realizing is that because you get to determine what you're doing, there's pretty much, there might be the chance that everyone is always rolling 3d6 because the jock does a body roll, the nerd does a brain roll, and the theatre kid does a heart roll. Like, no one ever rolls 1, 2, or 3. If you're like, I'm going to backflip off of the stands and roundhouse kick the alien, the aliens in the face, and it's like, yeah, okay, body roll. And it's like, I'm going to hack into the aliens' computer software. And it's like, I'm going to, I don't know actually. Anyway, all right, let's see. So I'm going to roll 3d6. 4, 5, and 2. So that would be 2 successes. So then that would fill 2 segments. Okay, let's assume you have 3 players, because that's currently what it's made for. So that's 2. I can fill that in. 1, 2. Roll again. That's 1 success. Those are 4 and 2 2s. So I'll just keep track of how many. 1, 2, 3 rolls. That's 1 success. That's a 6, a 1, and a 2. Just to get a sort of average idea. Alright, 4th roll. That's 2 6s and a 1. Yeah, because I also have... Yeah, okay, we'll ignore the other rule I put in. So that's 2 successes. That's exactly the same roll, somehow. 2 6s and a 1, okay. Okay. So we're up now to 8 successes. That's a 3, 3, and a 5, so that's 1. Okay. 3, 1, 6. That's 1 success. 3, 1, 5. That's 1 success. So we're up to 8 rolls. 2, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're up to 30. Okay, so this next one, let's see. 3, 5, and 6. All right. So that took 10 rolls with 3d6. That took 10 rolls to fill up 14 segments. With so maybe that's actually okay. And if people are using that, yeah. So maybe that does work a little better. Just in terms of filling up the clock. Okay. I should have been keeping track of, yeah, how many successes and failures were in there, but okay, we can do it. Okay, all right. Let's write this down. Let's write this down. Okay. So this should be in another. This should be up here, really. Okay, so this is not. Yeah, that's kind of a separate idea. So, draw a 14 segment clock. I'm just trying to think of how to word it, but when a player makes a roll, fill in segment of the clock for each success for each success they roll. So that's, yeah, you fill in the segment, yep. And then when the clock is full, and add, right, that many dice to the okay. Yeah. Alright, so draw a 14 segment clock. When the player makes a roll, fill in the segment of the clock for each success they roll. That probably can be worded better, but you get the idea. When the clock is full, we right. Okay. Yeah. Wording these things. Okay. The other thing that means is that if I still keep the idea of rolling the hero pool and the villain pool at the end of the game, that means that you'll always be rolling if I how do I want to make that work with this? Yeah, because that will mean that you'll roll 14. Like if it's the number of successes in that you roll, if it's the number of successes you roll, it's always going to be 14, or possibly more if you sort of overflow by the end. So maybe it should be something like, for each failure you roll, you add a dice to the villain pool, and then at the end, yeah. What do we? Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, that should also be up here. Right, I don't know about this. Just put that in italics. Okay. The 7 o'clock for each success. Yeah. Yeah, so I think maybe it could be something like that, couldn't it? Add okay. Come on, brain. Work with me here. Okay. Each stat represents a number of d6, which you roll. Yeah, okay. Probably a better way to phrase all of that, but anyway. So draw a 14 segment clock. When a player makes a roll, fill in a segment of the clock for each success. Okay. For each success they get, fill in a segment of the clock. Okay. Fill in a segment of clock. For each failure they get, add a dice or add a die to the villain pool. Hey, Pix. Yeah. So for each success they get fill in a segment of the clock. For each failure they get add a die to the villain pool. When the clock is full, we determine if the Earth is saved or destroyed. And how do we do that? So the idea would be like you have a hero pool and you have a villain pool and you roll them against each other. See who gets more successes or more failures or whatever. And I'll worry about how confessing works in a minute. So I'm gonna let's do another test roll with a 14 segment clock. That's 7. That's another 7. Okay, let's do some testing. Some solo testing. Now I'm going to keep track of failures and see how big the villain pool would be if we do it this way. So let's see. That's 2 5s and a 3, so that's 2 segments filled and 1 failure. We should probably be able to math this out, but I think I can just roll the dice and just do a sort of self-play test, you know, just to get an idea. 6 4 2. Okay, so that's another 2 successes and 1 failure. Again, 2 and 1. So yeah, we could math this out, or I could just roll. Again, 2 successes and 1 failure. I'm rolling okay here. That's 4 failures so far. Exactly, yeah. Feel is also important, even if the math makes sense. Okay, that's 2 failures and 1 success. That was a 3, a 4, and a 1. Two 4s and a 2. That's 2. That's a 4, a 5, and a 3. And the last roll, 2 6s and a 2. Okay. So that ends up with 9 dice in the villain pool. Okay. So we have 9 dice. So I think what we want to do... Yeah. It's a lot of dice to roll, I know, that's the thing. But maybe I want that for the big final thing. Problem is you probably won't be rolling them all at once. Okay, anyway. So 9, let's stick with 9. So let's roll. Okay, so I'm gonna roll the villain pool. I'm gonna do it 3 dice at a time, and I'm gonna count the number of successes. That's 2. That's 1. And 1 more. Oh no, the dice. It's on the floor. Roll it again. A 4, 1, and a 3. And that's another 1. Okay. So that's 4 successes. So then we're going to... So, okay. And I think we got... I think we got 15 successes on the track to fill it up. Because it overflowed by 1. So let's roll the hero pool, which is 3 dice 5 times. So that's 2. That's 1. That's 2, and we've already beaten it. Okay, so yeah, I don't think that feels particularly exciting. It was probably better if you roll them all at once, but that's not particularly exciting. Okay, so I think we need another final resolution mechanic. So I think we might need another final resolution mechanic. So what can we do? Just build the final pool where they cancel each other out? What do you mean? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure what that means. Oh wait, I think I know. Oh. Wait, hold on. Will they cancel it out? Like... I don't know. What happens if you have more evil counters? Yeah. Because, like I said, what I want it to come down to is I want it to come down to a final roll that is affected by how well you did up until that point. Like I said, I don't want it to be like, you know, I don't want it to be like, you know, by the time you go into the final thing, you know whether it's going to succeed or fail. But you are doing things that are making your chances better as you go along. Villain die or whatever. I think I see what you mean. Like, you have the dice pool and then they get replaced for each failure. Yeah, like replace them with villain die. Yeah. Could be. Thinking, processing. Oh man, I may have to rearrange some of my other subscriptions so I can subscribe to Quinn's Quest Patreon for the rest of it. I'm trying to think if there are there any RPGs that people can think of that have a similar system to this, where you are building up a pool or something that then you roll at the end. You know, you're charging up your beam attacks and then rolling them. Any mechanics I can steal from. Sorry, I know I'm not talking much. I'm just trying to think. Brain. Yeah, I want it to be a final confrontation where you essentially roll off against the villain. Yeah? I'm changing the role. Ah. Yeah. So, okay, what do we do? What do we do about it? What do we do about it? Why does that stop mattering? Well, it's not supposed to. It's meant like, yeah, the original version of this, when the clock is filled, you roll the hero pool and the villain pool, whichever side gets more successes is victorious, right? So you're comparing the number of successes you each roll. So in that sense, you know, that still does matter. At least that's in the original version of this, right? Like the original version of this is like you roll the two pools and compare the number of successes each pool gets, and whoever gets more is winner. But I don't know. Like I said, I never said I thought this through. In fact, I definitely didn't. Might be fine for a 2-pager. Yeah. That's the thing. Maybe it's fine. This is not designed to. This is not meant to be anything more than like a one-shot, a goofy one-shot. You know. That's why there's the Earth potentially gets destroyed at the end of it if you don't win. Like Earth gets blown up. I'm like, am I trying to make this too complicated? Ship it onto the next bit, it's fine for now. Maybe. Okay, so let me rewrite this then. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've got it. I think I've got something. Okay, so once in the final confrontation, the players each roll against the players each roll once. I'm trying to think how. Okay, so here, let me see if I can explain this and then try and write it down. So the idea being, now they're rolling off against each other, but there's no hero pool. We just have the players make a roll, but we're counting the number of successes that they each get, that they all get, against the villain pool. And because the villain pool was like 9 dice when I did that little test, so it could vary, you know, around that. And so, you know, the players will probably also be rolling 9 dice, or they might want to do something else, or they might want to confess or something. So yeah, so we're not building a hero, we're only building the villain pool from the rolls, and then you make a final confrontation. You know, you roll your stats, you get a certain number of success, and then the villain rolls theirs, and they get a certain number. And then yes, I like this, yes, correct. Each roll one final, or each take one final action. And roll their dice. Then the evil, what is it? The alien, I'm just putting this all in caps, rolls the villain pool. Actually, we should do this the other way around. Yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, we should do this the other way around. In the final confrontation, the alien emperor rolls the villain pool and counts the number of successes. Then the players each take one final action and roll their dice. The alien emperor rolls the villain pool. Then the players each take one final action and roll their dice, trying to get more. Actually, yeah, the alien master, yeah, trying to get more successes than the emperor. Okay, I like that better. I definitely like that better. So yeah, you're building the villain's dice pool with how many failures you get, and then at the end, you each roll, we collectively roll and count the successes for the whole party, the whole team. And then and see if you can get more successes than the villain did. Yeah, I like that a lot more than what I had before. So this, yeah. Okay. That should be like a confrontation. Stop putting 2 letters in things. Okay, so let's see about the confrontation, the confessing idea. So, if you roll no successes, you can confess your feelings to another character. This replaces your roll, I should say, rather than the pool, with a number of successes equal to your heart. Each character can only confess once per game. If you have not confessed by the final confrontation, your character confesses their feelings immediately, and that should be instead of rolling. I don't know if that works, but And then we'll take a look at those special abilities in a moment. Okay, and with it, after each action, after each player's action, roll for a new location. Yeah, okay. You can confess your feelings to another character. This replaces your roll with a number of successes equal to your heart. Each character can only confess once per game. If you have not confessed by the final confrontation, your character confesses their feelings immediately instead of rolling. And I don't know like how much I care about people gaming it out too much. And like it's probably fine. So probably best not to worry about that. Because I'm like, is it better to just don't confess until right at the end? And if that is true, that's actually fine, because that's kind of like a dramatic time to confess your feelings when you're aboard the alien mothership and the evil emperor is coming to destroy the Earth, and you confess your feelings to, you know, to the cheerleader or to the science nerd or whatever. Yeah. Maybe that's actually okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Alright, so then I was thinking we've got 3 things. I don't know if I want to keep them as they are, but let's just say we've got Jock Nerd Theatre Kid. 3, yeah. Now, do I want to give them a special ability? Maybe? Hmm. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Reroll 1 dice once, increase the result of a die by 1. I don't know. Yeah. The final confrontation. Yeah. Segment of the plot for each failure they get, and the clock is full. We determine the Earth is safe to destroy the final confrontation. It rolls the villain pool and counts the number of successes. So you take one final action and roll their dice, trying to get more successes than the Emperor. In total, let's make that clear. And this should go. This should maybe go here. Ah. Yeah. I don't know. This is the thing where I'm like, I could easily just take that out. And maybe that would be fine. Once per scene? Well, that once per roll and once per scene is kind of the same thing. At least the way I have it set up right now. Yeah. So each character has a special ability which they can use once per game. That's a good old bulleted list. Whoops, that no. And maybe it's once per game on any roll. Sorry, that should, yeah, on any roll. So not just their own. So that is essentially, you get to remove one of the villain's dice with the way this currently works. Maybe that's fine. Just keep you happy there. Just capitalizing these. Yeah, maybe that's fine. They can use once per game on any on any player's roll. So you get to re-roll one die, increase the result of a dice by 1, and remove a failure from the pool. Yeah. Okay. You know what? This is maybe now in a place where I'm like, yeah, I could mess around with this and see if this is actually fun to play or not. And might need a little bit more, like, flavor added, but that's fine. Okay, so the idea being as well, we've got locations to choose from. After each player's action, roll for a new location. 2-column format and a doodle of an alien emperor and a high school kid. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Jock, nerd, theater kid. I was wondering if I should add like a 4th one, but no. Jock, nerd, and theater kid, the 3 genders. I don't know. End of the round, pick or roll. Well, the thing is, if it's a... Okay, so what did we say? It was like... I want it to kind of be a little bit zany where we're jumping between locations a lot. So I feel like if we just jump between a location every roll, because it was like, I think it was like 8 rolls or something. It was something like that to get to 14. And it might be more, it might be less. And, you know, I think it's probably fine. Yeah, someone gets to go, you know, we're aboard the alien war rocket. So, you know what, let's do one, like, very quick, another quick sort of kind of play test. How many of these do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 15. I need, like... an even number. Alright, high school dance, Freaky Nebula, sports field, library, Giant alien robot, gladiator pit, emperor's court, evil doppelgangers. I need like just one more just to make it like 16. What can we have? Dentist's office? No, wait, the mall. You gotta have, it's teenagers. It's the mall, yeah. In fact, let's change sports field to gymnasium. Yeah, it's gotta be. I can't believe I forgot the mall. Okay. So how do we get? How do we randomly roll on 16 things? I know there's a way to do it. Roll a d16. Yes, of course. You're right. I mean, can roll a d20 and just ignore anything over 16. That's probably a good way to do it for now. Problem is, if you do like 2d8s, your minimum is 2, not 1. Oh, no, I know what. You do a d10 and a d8. No, that's not right. That's not right. No, that's silly. Alright, let's just do a d20. Let's just for the moment do a d20 and ignore anything that's over 16. There's definitely a better way to do this. Or I just need to add more things so that it makes out to a number you can more easily roll. Which is fine. Okay, so make villain pool. Just do this on sticky notes. And I'm not going to try and fully play it out, but let's see. Let's roll to see where we start. What is that? Is that a 6? Oh, there should be a number to this. Hold on. There we go. Okay, yeah, you've been abducted by the alien, by the evil space aliens, and you're now on an asteroid orbiting a black hole. What are you gonna do? Whoa. Okay. I got 1 success and I got 2 failures. I'm just going to roll 3d6 every time as a kind of like, you know, maximal way of doing it. And then we go to, yes, 18. You know, I'm actually going to overflow them. So an 18 is a result of 2, which is the high school dance. So now we have to get from the black. How do we get from the black hole to the high school dance? Well, there's a teleporter. And we roundhouse kick the alien into the controls, and it zaps us down to down to Earth. Exactly. Yes, this is good. Okay, that's 2 successes and 1 failure. So we're in the where were we? We're in the high school dance, and now we're going to the gymnasium. That's an easy one. Although the high school dance is probably happening in the gymnasium. Okay. Maybe I should change that back to sports field. Yeah, alright. We've gone to the sports field. The aliens have, you know, we've been teleported in here. There are aliens shooting out the... trying to take out the... I don't know, the dancers, and then the sports field. Okay, that is 2 successes, 1 failure. Now we're going from the sports field to fighting your evil doppelgangers who are at the sports field. Your evil alien doppelgangers. The teleporter malfunctioned and made evil clones of you that they also sent down there. Now you must fight them. Okay. And now we'll roll to see what happens. That's 2 failures and 1 success. Then we go from fighting your evil doppelgangers to 4, which is being trapped on Planet X. Your evil doppelgangers have defeated. Okay, yeah. Planet X. That's 1 success. So 2 failures. Now we go from Planet X to a human spaceship on a collision course. We found a way off Planet X. There's a human spaceship that's somehow been taken here. We get on board, activate the controls. The nerd figures out how to fly the spaceship, but oh no, it's on a direct collision course with an asteroid. What are we gonna do? And then someone does something. That's 3 successes. Hey, look at that. No dice for the villain pool. The spaceship is on a collision course heading towards the casino planet. Oh no, the bright lights and glittery space things. We're on a collision course with the casino planet. Crash landing into the big space casino. I'm being chased after by aliens. Alright. That's 1 success. 2 failures. And we are now going from the casino planet. That's a 3. No, that's a 2 again. I would say reroll duplicates, but we're going from the casino planet back to the high school dance. I don't know how that makes sense. I find another teleporter. Like it's supposed to, this is meant to kind of be insane. So there we go. That's 2 6s. That's 2 successes. And 1 failure. Our next location is... Okay, no, I'm going to re-roll that one. 19, which is 3. A battle in a freaky nebula. Okay, it is a little crazy. It might be, you know, if you're just rolling every time. So, you know, choose or roll for a new location. Just do what you want. Like if you're like, no, that doesn't make sense. Let's go somewhere else. And finally, that's 2 successes and 1 failure. All right, so we have, what is this? This is actually 12 dice in the villain pool from that. So let's roll villain pool. So 12 dice. That's 3 dice 4 times. That was 2 successes. That was another 2 successes. Another 2. Alright, 1 more. And no successes that time. Okay. So that's 6 successes on some dice. So heroes, let's all go once each. That is 2. That's another 2. And 1 more. There's 3 of you. That's 1. Okay. But then... Sorry, yes. But then the... Jock increases, I got a 3. Increases the 3 to a 4. which is an additional 1. And then the nerd re-rolls the 1. For a 4! And they succeed and the Earth is saved. Alright. That's not so bad in practice. I think we've figured out a better way to resolve this thing. I think that's good enough to try out, basically. Is it the most in-depth thing? No. Is it a bit of silly fun? Maybe it is. Good enough for government work. Exactly. Yeah. I didn't take into account confrontation, the confessing, but I think that is just, that would probably only make things better. Although, that confesses immediately. But maybe that makes it one. I don't know. Whatever. This is still at the point where I'm like, you know what? Ship it and see. What's wrong about that? Do you need to capitalize Armageddon? I guess. I guess I'll capitalize all of them. You know. And yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this, which was like if you roll more than 1 6 and an extra success, because that doesn't. Well, it does something, but I don't think we need that. Yeah. Alright. So this is the first draft. Well, not really. This is more like the second draft of I Love You, but we only have 14 hours to save the Earth. A 2-page RPG about romance, rockets, and Armageddon. The 3 R's. This is kind of explicitly for 4 players. Three characters and the alien master. Yeah, I don't know if this would scale at all, but maybe maybe it would just fill up a lot more quickly. Yeah, as it stands, it kind of probably only works with exactly 4 people. Just because of the way the clock works. And if you have more people, then you could easily fill the clock up without somebody getting a chance to do anything. So, I don't know. It doesn't have to be, you know, doesn't have to be the sort of, you know, it doesn't have to be anything more than this, basically. Yeah. Alright. Well, that was fun. It's been sitting around on my Google Drive for a while, this has. And so, you know what? Sounds good to me. And I might try and do up like a zine style kind of with some goofy drawings on it and put it up at some point. But I would do that today, but I realized just before going live, like I haven't charged my tablet or my pen, so Never mind. Mostly it's that I haven't charged my pen because I can plug the tablet in, but anyhow. Yeah. And also, nobody sue me for this. I wonder if I should change that to muscle, brain, and heart. I actually kind of like that. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's done. It's not done. Final V2, final. Right after these messages, yeah. Yeah, and that's fine. That's just a little minor thing. Reroll. Okay, let me put them in the same order that they were presented in. Why are you pasting it like... There we go. Are you pasting it with a different font? What's going on there? Yeah. Okay, just reorganizing things here. Okay, and I think this should probably also go there. It's one die. Dice is plural, right? Yeah. Oh. Wait. What happened? How did I... I guess I put more spaces in here. Oh, there's also this. That's fine. Just trying to get it all to fit onto 2 pages. There we go. Oh, I know why. Yeah, so now I can do that now? Yes. Yep. I think that's there we go. Just formatting stuff. Alright. I think that came out okay. This was all I had planned today, because again, I'm taking it easy this week, and we're going to get stuck into Final Fantasy 16 next week. So, having now reached a point at which I think we can step back from this and be like, yep, this is good enough. I think I'll probably wrap it up. It's a short stream, but I didn't have many plans today. I was like, I think we'll do this. Just taking it easy and not worrying too much about it. But yeah, I hope that was enjoyable. I had a good time. Thank you for hanging out and for helping me out with that. Always good to get feedback and some brainstorming. Because yeah, I've tried my hand at home brewing and such, and this is me trying my hand at game design in a very sort of rudimentary way. So yeah, and I think this is fine. You know, this is not meant to be anything. I'm not trying to build like a, you know, the next D&D killer here. Thank God. And for like a goofy, like Grant Howitt style, like 1 or 2 page RPG, I think this is pretty good. Or good enough. So there we go. We'll have to try it out at some point and give it a playtest. Alright. Well, that's it from me then. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. So yeah, like I said, I'll be back on Monday and we'll get back, we'll do some proper streaming with Final Fantasy 16 as we move into the final game of the Retro Gauntlet. You know, the official final game. There'll probably be other Final Fantasy games. I mean, there will be that I want to play, or JRPGs. I still need to play. I want to play Chrono Trigger at some point because people keep going on about that, and it does sound like it would be my jam. So we certainly won't be done with JRPGs on the stream, but yeah. So yeah, look forward to that. Sunday, I think we've got more Abiotic Factor once again with the lads over on HP's channel. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, do watch out for that. I'll see you next time, and have a great week. Take care, and thanks for watching.